on a Monday. It's the 25th episode.
That's a quarter century. Welcome.
Yeah,
On a Monday, New Leaf News presents the Legends Clubhouse. I am Bobby Kaboose. As always, I am here with Lawson Turner. What's going on, man?
we had a really interesting weekend. We had a weekend full
Yeah,
of
a lot of shit happened, man. A
you,
lot of shit.
you name a sport outside of the NFL, there was it was going on. We had the
Yeah,
UFC,
it really
Money
was.
in the Bank, basketball, hockey on the Friday
NFL.
night. Wrestle. I think I already said Money in the Bank, but we
Yeah,
can
you
we
did
can.
already say Money in the Bank.
Well, it's 7:30 in the morning.
It is, and I'm fucking tired. I had a great weekend. Friday I was via satellite. Now I'm back home. So had a long, nice weekend in northern Michigan,
Mm.
and now I'm back to normal, fucking stupid ass life of working, and taking things serious again. But. So we had a fucking jam-packed weekend, man.
Mm.
Last night, SGA and the Thunder fucking steamrolled fucking the Pacers, which was kind of expected, right? Especially after game one.
Yeah, the last time we saw this Thunder team go down 0-1 in the series, it was against Denver. They lost by two. Then they won. They responded. They went down 0-1 after Aaron Gordon's crazy three, game-winning three. Then in
Hmm.
game two, they won by 43 points. So it's like the best team in the league is obviously going to make adjustments against a really obvious. They're just taking game one in the fashion they did. Indy showed that there's always the in quotations puncher's chance. However, with
Yeah.
the best team in the league, this is the second straight game in which no one on the Pacers has scored 20 points.
Yeah, and Tyrese Halliburton, like at one point, he like I think it was because I think I watched the second half most of it.
Yeah,
I think it was deep into the third quarter. He only had like 4 points at one point.
yeah.
And I think he kind of ended strong because I think he ended up with what 15 or so. Um,
12 of his
but
17 points were in the fourth quarter.
yeah. So, but it brings up a question.
Mm-hmm.
Of course, the Thunder are heavy favorites to win this series. We discussed that at the beginning. I think the Pacers were like plus 700 to win the championship in the finals, which is crazy.
Yeah,
But do you think that the Thunder are going to be the next like dynasty in the NBA? Because they have a young core.
mm-hmm.
They have still a ton of assets as far as draft picks
Yeah.
that they accumulated, in various trades and things like that. And I feel like they may be somewhat unstoppable in the next 10 years.
It's so funny because the last like four teams outside of the Lakers in the bubble year, well, and the Golden State year, the year after, like we thought, oh, Boston won last year. Is it Boston's time to rake off,
Mm,
2, 3 championships? Year before that, it's Denver. Oh, Denver's got the best player in Jokic. They're ready to rip off two or three. So I'm not willing to say
yeah,
this is dynasty yet because it's also under like the new CBA and not having these super teams. Like in a couple years, Jalen Williams is going to be up for a big deal that he's going to want. You've already got Hartenstein making $30 million a year. SGA's on you. When he's eligible again, he's going to want another crazy deal. Chet's going to want a really good deal. The thing that you brought up about the assets, it is like last year I think they were the number two seed. No, they were the number one seed because Denver, uh, it was either Denver or them. They're the top two seeds. And then everyone's like, oh well, they lost to Dallas last year in the second round. They can just go get who they can go get, like if they want to go get a KD, or if they just want to say, hey Milwaukee, we're going to give you 1,000 draft picks and
hmm
players to make salaries match. Give us Giannis, whoever. What they can do, and this is probably what, because Sam Presti is the best GM in the league. What he can do, he might not want to go get like a superstar because they already have Shea and stuff like that, and it would be anti their system to take the ball out of Shea's hand. But we need we need another really good wing defender who can knock down corner threes. Let's go get Alex Caruso. Let's just go get these
Mhm.
these really high character, high impact role players for little to nothing.
Right. Well, with the assets and their young core, as far as you've named a bunch of guys that they're going to have to pay, right?
Hmm.
Could they even afford if they, package a bunch of draft picks? Could they even afford like a KD or a Giannis, with trading and extending them and having to re-sign their guys eventually? Is it
Hmm.
even possible to go out and get a superstar if they have to pay their own homegrown guys anyway?
See, there's a handful of ways to make almost any trade in the NBA work. There's been reports that the Knicks want to try and acquire Giannis and are willing to damn near gut the team. However, if you gut the team, you're losing what made the Knicks a really solid team. Is they're
Right.
all around, not really depth per se. However, you take away like a trade for a Kevin Durant or somebody of that stature for OKC, you would need to give up 4 or 5 players and picks to make the salary cap work, because a lot of these young
Yeah.
players, they're not making any money. They're great,
So
but they're not making any money to make the salaries match.
right, but like I mean, when that would kind of fuck them over, as far as when their contracts are up and they have to give them, max or a super max or whatever the fuck they call it these days in the
Yeah.
NBA, correct? Like,
Hmm.
I mean, it's not like baseball where there's nothing, and it's not like football where, teams can magically find money by reconstructing contracts, right?
Right.
So it doesn't really work like those two sports. So, as far as they need, it's almost like you got to play this weird game of either, okay, you're going to keep all your draft picks and try to hit on them, or package them for, like you said, kind of role players, and hopefully your young core of players can develop into superstars where you can kind of manage their either their salaries or start trading them off one by one
Hmm.
and getting stuff in return that could help you build for the future as well and kind of keep a steady pace,
Right.
because I think they are so young, and a lot of guys I think on their are probably still on their rookie contracts, right? So
Yeah.
they have like a interesting problem to deal with, instead of like most teams go out and get free agents. This team kind of built themselves up, from within, and
Right.
this may be the best version of that, maybe minus Golden State,
Hmm.
who had drafted, minus KD when he came in, but they have a couple championships without him anyway. But like
Yeah.
the core of Draymond, Clay, and Steph all being drafted by the Warriors and being a homegrown product, I think that this is the best version of that since Golden State, right?
100%. And to touch back on the trades, it's so interesting to me because the immediate stuff of, who won whatever trade, whenever trades happen, there's always,
Mhm.
who won the trade. Well, you kind of have to see how the parts add up, because it doesn't matter
Right,
what the trade is. If the trade gets you a championship, you do it 1,000 times out of 1,000. It was
right,
the Pelicans got, the sun, the moon, the earth, the stars, all of it for Anthony Davis, but the Lakers won the trade because they got a championship out of it.
right. Yeah. Yep. Sometimes it just be like that, just like the stupid Rams and Stafford,
I I was just about to
Even
say, even though from a player perspective, the Lions won the trade. However, the Rams won the trade because it was worth it to them due to they got championship.
yeah, and it was worth it for us just to get that fat-faced fuck out of here. So, it was worth it.
That's funny. That's
It wasn't like
hilarious.
we were gonna win anytime soon, and now we have a Super Bowl window that we've never had before. So, things work out. But going to the NHL, did you watch that game on what was it, Friday night?
You're damn right I
Double
did.
overtime.
Double
Oh
overtime.
yeah.
There was 5 goals in the first period, which is insane.
Mhm.
And
Which
then
I thought for the first period we were at a bar up in northern Michigan
mhm,
watching, and we were me and my girlfriend were talking or whatever, and based on the like I wasn't really paying attention, like they had it on, right,
mhm.
but I thought there were so many goals in the first period. I thought they were showing highlights of the last game. I didn't even know it started already. And then I was like, we were sitting at a table, and then a couple spots at the bar actually opened up. So when we moved over to the bar, I go, "Oh wait, this is live!" And I was like, "Holy shit, dude!" And what Edmonton tied it up with like 17 seconds left in regulation or something.
Yeah.
And to take it in overtime, and then they go into double overtime. I didn't see the second overtime. We were the last people at the bar, and like they were kind of like waiting. They were allowing us to sit there while they were like kind of cleaning up and stuff, and so we kind of felt bad after the first overtime, and was like, you know what, we don't need to stay. We
Yeah.
can leave, and then they ended up finishing the game on the way home. So, but
It was a
the
crazy
series is
game.
1-1. I was hoping that McDavid and my what's better than a wet cycle, the dry cycle, and we were hoping
Yeah.
that those two guys could go up 2-0, so I'd be 2 wins away from getting my crisp $20 bill from you.
It's also interesting because this is the first time a goalie has had 40 plus saves in the first two games of Stanley Cup Final. Bobrovsky, giving up 4 goals is a in quotations bad performance. However, when you save 42 of the 46 shots, you're kind of standing on
Yeah,
your head. And what did I say before the series?
I don't know.
That goober Brad Marchand is gonna just be a nut. And he's got 3 goals in the first 2 games, including the game winning in the second overtime of last game. I think he also scored a shorthanded goal in the first period. I think
What's better than
it was in
three
the
goals in
second.
2 games? Four
Four
goals
goals
in
in
two
two
games. So
games.
he's not doing the very good. He's not doing great. He's doing good. He's not doing great.
Right. He's
We don't
he's
we don't care what you say on this show. Um,
for
but yeah, man. So
a
the
oh
next
continue yeah
game is, I believe, tonight.
it is tonight.
Um, going back to or going where to
Florida.
Edmonton,
No,
Florida.
to Florida. Edmonton had the first 2 games.
We're going to Florida.
Uh huh.
Okay, we're going to Florida. Look, Edmonton's gonna win tonight because they're going to Florida. It's nice weather. It's their summer vacation from Canada, and they're gonna win, and then they're gonna probably go have a barbecue on South Beach or something. So, if you're in the South Beach area, go look for the Oilers on the beach tonight because they're gonna be celebrating. Um, anyway, what else happened? No, what did you do this weekend?
What did I do?
We'll get into that.
I sat my happy ass right here and enjoyed all the sports. We had the UEFA Nations League final yesterday. We had the French Open yesterday. I'm surprised you didn't want to just immediately dive into you being a big wrestling guy. We had Money in the Bank on
I,
Saturday.
I, I was waiting for it, man. So
Yeah.
I was, we have to get through other stuff before we get into the stuff that I want to talk about, right? I always put you first. So like, what would Lawson want to talk about? I'm like,
You don't give a flying fuck on the wall
I'm
what
like,
I want to talk about.
what would my co-host like to talk about first?
Well, I know you don't want to talk
Um,
about Nick Chubb.
who the hell's Nick Chubb? Where'd he go? What
He
happened with him?
Yesterday he agreed to a 1 year deal with the Houston Texans pending a physical.
Cool. So who cares about the Texans?
Motherfuckers in Houston. That's it.
Nobody. Fucking people in Texas don't fucking care about the Texans. You know why? Because
They're
they
all
have the
Dallas
fucking Cowboys.
fans.
No one fucking cares about the Texans. They have an ugly logo.
You
I
don't like
know
the
it's
bull?
the United States flag, but it's ugly.
You don't like the bull?
Stupid. They're stupid. The best thing that ever happened to them was David Carr.
But
Um,
not David.
anyway.
He's not even the best
I actually
car.
have no problem with. I have no problem with the Houston Texans. I don't know why. I just don't care. Uh,
Right.
that Nick Chubb went to the fucking
Yeah,
Texans.
he doesn't change anything, and Stephon out, Tank Dell out. They signed Was it like they? It was they traded for what's his face. He used to be a Jag. It's pissing me off. It's pissing me
Andre
off. That
Johnson,
if Andre Johnson
Mark
was,
Brunell,
huh?
Mark Brunell,
Yo,
Fred Taylor.
shout out Mark Brunell, the short little lefty. It's
I think he's on the coaching staff of the Lions.
no
He was
shit.
last year.
Wow.
I don't know if he still is. He might have been one of the coaches that left. I'm not sure, um, but yeah,
Continue because it's
who,
gonna
Mario
jump out to me.
Williams.
No, there was Mario Williams.
Um,
There was a receiver that I swear they either just acquired or traded for.
Brandon
It's gonna
Stokely,
piss me. Just say Brian Hartline, why don't
Bill Schrader. Do you
you?
know who Bill Schrader is?
I was about to say absolutely not.
He was a Packer and a Lion. Um, who else?
Christian Kirk. Chris,
Oh yeah,
that's who it
Christian
was.
Kirk.
Christian Kirk.
You should have said ex Jaguar. Um,
Fuck you, buddy.
or you should have said ex Jaguar and ex Cardinal, and I would have been like, oh yeah, you know that
No,
Christian Kirk or
mm,
whatever.
yeah,
Kirk Cameron's
that they
brother.
that they gave him a crazy stupid contract for, giving Christian Kirk $19 million a year.
So what did the Jags cut him, or
They,
You said they traded for him?
I don't. You know what? Let me Christian.
Because didn't he just sign with them? Didn't he just sign that 4 year? Or has it been 4 years already?
I think they traded trade. Yeah, they traded him to the Texans for a 7th round pick.
Sweet. I'm glad they got value out of that
Yeah,
trade.
after giving him 4 years, $72 million.
I don't like how okay, so I don't like this that you can get so much for so little in the NFL. Like a 7th round pick. Come on, man. Like that's not only insulting in real life, but it screws up my Madden franchises because you have to overpay in Madden, and I'm like, no, this guy was a 7th round pick. You're telling me I have to fucking send you a
Yeah,
second round pick for this guy? Come on.
if only on Madden they took the contract into, oh well, we'll give you a 7th. However, we're taking on this stupid contract y'all gave out 2 years ago anyways.
Right, right. And then you could be like, okay, well, at least,
It
I'm not gonna fucking draft anyone good in the 7th round.
it'd be
I know
interesting.
you are.
It'd be interesting if they had like the AI and you could text it, hey, we'll take on that bad salary cap.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'd be
Like
funny.
Madden should have its own Siri, Be like, hey Madden, make
That
me a sandwich, and then it makes you a sandwich. I don't know if Siri does that, but it would be really cool if it did.
it would be pretty cool.
But speaking of Money in the Bank, we
Mm-hmm.
have two new Money in the Bank briefcase holders, in Naomi and Seth Rollins. What do you think? How do you feel about those two carrying the briefcase?
Out of everyone that I was surprised about, I was super surprised Naomi won. And like I think her winning it's great. It's gonna be interesting when and who. Because,
Yeah,
back in the day they had like the Raw and SmackDown ladder Money in the Bank matches, and when they
Mhm.
unified it, it just became one, and now it's you got a briefcase, you can pick who you want.
Right. Yeah, I'm curious if they're gonna, if they're gonna go a route where like Jade or Bianca win the title and she cashes in like immediately. I think that would be cool.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they only held the title for like,
Ten
you know,
minutes.
yeah, not even,
Yeah,
I was gonna say 30 seconds, but that's a little too you know,
unless she's hiding under the ring.
right. Or it is, yeah, it is. She is. I wasn't surprised, but I was surprised that she won.
Mm-hmm.
Because I was surprised that Jade didn't interfere.
Yeah.
I would have thought that she would have just came out and fucking destroyed her like she did prior. Not sure if I like it. I guess it depends where it goes.
What angle
Um,
does WWE want to take with her being Miss Money in the Bank?
Exactly. And with Seth Rollins winning, I like it. I think that was the move, that they should have made because of the faction. Like you got to make that faction like, you know, fucking strong as fuck and how better to do it than have the Money in the Bank and the two guys that can like go destroy the champion and Seth kind of just walking in and picking up the pieces.
Yeah.
Um but there was a lot of guys in there that could have won that. Like LA Knight is
I
I want him to be pushed so fucking bad, and they just don't.
I
And like I'm like, God damn it, dude! Like this guy is so good, and he's old, so like he's in his 40s already. Like I'm like, he's never gonna get his time.
it was so funny because I saw someone say for like the third straight Money in the Bank he was this close again,
Yeah,
and then someone else made a point that if his last name was the same as like Romans or
yeah,
Uso,
I think-
then yeah, then he'd be he would have been shamed 4 times already.
right. Yeah, and we saw Jacob turn on Solo, which again I haven't seen Money in the Bank, unfortunately. I just saw the internet clips. Um but so I'll probably get filled in tonight when I watch SmackDown, Monday Night Raw. I forgot what day it was.
Hmm.
I wish it was Friday, then I would only have to work today and have the weekend off.
Right.
But um yeah, with Rollins being the Money Bank holder, like he's got two fucking behemoths that he can rely on
Hmm.
to not only help him cash in, but when he gets the title, they can kind of protect him, and he'll have probably a long reign. Um, the other thing that happened
I'm waiting for this.
is my man R-Truth came back, and I sighed because not that I'm disappointed that he came back. 'Cause I'm very happy that he came back. He's an entertaining motherfucker. We are both kind of like, oh man, like that sucks that he got released. Couple things, man. Couple things that need to start happening with the fucking wrestling community, right?
Number one.
And some on WWE's end too, or TKO or whatever. One, they gotta stop having any kind of fucking contract leaks or anything like that. Releases, stop fucking publicizing them. Like when it comes down to it, this is not a fucking sport. We don't care that they signed a fucking 7-year deal for how many fucking million or got released or whatever the fuck. I don't care. I don't care. It's not football. It's a TV show. It's entertainment. If someone gets released, yeah, it might suck, but you know,
You just won't,
it
cause
happens.
I remember back in when I was watching wrestling like every week and stuff like that. You didn't really in the early 2010s and late 2000s, none of that stuff came out. They just weren't on the
Right.
show anymore, and it's just like, oh, whatever
Right.
happened to that character? And
Right.
it. Mhm.
Like so it's just like fuck, dude. If you watch fucking Boy Meets World, the fucking youngest daughter, she got cut after the first season. Sorry, like it's a TV show. Sometimes your character just don't fucking play out, and
Mhm.
fans don't like her. You have to make budget cuts, or you have to do something. It's a freaking TV show. I don't care about the contracts. Like it's gonna move on. Like stop announcing these releases and no, just enjoy the freaking product. Enjoy who's on the screen. It's a TV show.
Right.
Wins and losses don't matter. Championships don't matter.
Are
You of course you're
are
gonna see
are you entertained or
your
not?
favorite guy,
Mhm.
but just watch it, enjoy it, take
I'm
it in for
I'm right
what it
there with you.
is.
The
That's my first.
really quick before you jump into the second one about the stuff being publicized and leaked per se and all that stuff. I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember about a week before the Royal Rumble? Before Alexa Bliss came back, it was all over Twitter that her and WWE are so far apart.
Yeah,
They're like years and millions apart from whatever
yeah,
both sides want, and
yep,
me not being in like the wrestling world as much as I used to, I was like, oh, That's just kind of weird that it comes out public and then within a week she magically shows up. It's
Right.
almost like when Punk returned. How I don't know if you've seen like clips or like that. Not that they made a documentary on it, but there's clips and stuff where people were talking about Punk's return, where it's like
Mhm.
nothing was signed until that day, and they had to sneak me in
Right.
and sign that day. It's really interesting to all the stuff that's publicized now or leaked.
Right. And the thing is too is like, you know, when someone signs, it's all online, so it's like there's no fucking surprise. Like
Right.
you back in the day before Barack Obama day, blah 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 blah. Now, I'm not trying to sound fucking old. I get like things have to evolve and stuff, but like
Mm-hmm.
it's like okay, if Jade Cargill signs, okay, we're just waiting for her debut now. When's she gonna debut? Like
It
you
kind of
don't get
ruins the
the element of
surprise.
surprise, and like holy shit, like those holy shit, like I can't believe this guy's here, or this
Mm-hmm.
girl's here, like it takes all of that out of it, and
Mm-hmm.
the element of surprise, and anything can happen in the World Wrestling Federation, well, entertainment now, but it takes away that glory and that nostalgic fucking, oh my god, we didn't see this coming, who the
Mm-hmm.
fuck is this guy, or oh my god,
Why are all
Hulk
the light?
Hogan, or
Why are
I don't know.
why are all the lights going dark? And then just someone
Right,
pops up, and it
right,
it goes back to the leaking thing to where like nothing gets out. I don't care if it's in sports, wrestling, politics, news. Nothing gets leaked unless somebody wants it out.
right,
So then start to think. I doubt WWE would leak it, and
right.
and if they do, what's the angle of it?
Right. And so we're getting to the next point is our truth's come back.
Mm,
He's going, as far as all the reports that I've heard, he's going to go by Ron Killings for at least a little bit, which pretty cool. I think if he, especially if he has a different attitude. Um the pictures that I saw and the stuff, he looked a little bit more serious attacking
mm,
John Cena. Um, I think they should have went the other way. I think they should have had him come help, but that's just me. But again, the internet wrestling community, I completely understand the we want truth chants, right? Completely understand because you're there. You're physically in the arena, right? You're chanting, "We want truth." I get it. Again, his reports of him getting released, all this stuff. But people are like, "No way, this was work. No way. We the people, we spoke up, and WWE actually listened to us." Blah 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 blah. First of all, shut the fuck up because you have no idea what fucking is going on at their company. Like, yeah, things can get leaked, but like you can also spread misinformation too. Like if WWE wants a certain angle of something, they're probably gonna get it. Like if they told our truth, hey, like we're gonna release you because we can't honor your current contract and we're gonna renegotiate, but we have to release you out of this contract and renegotiate the next one because there was reports too that they lowballed him, right?
mm.
So maybe just maybe internet wrestling community, maybe they were still in fucking negotiations and his contract may have expired and they maybe had to still negotiate and still get a deal done. Like you have no fucking idea just because someone, and especially if the person in the fucking thing tweets that whatever, like you don't think he could go around and be like, hey man, like I'll probably be back but I'm gonna tweet this, can you fucking like act like I'm leaving? Like
From all
these
from
dudes these dudes pull works all the time, like this is their job, they're actors, they're supposed to portray
mm,
something, a storyline, anything. And I'm not saying that this was a huge storyline, but it could be. And you have no idea how those negotiations go. And, of course, like the WWE Universe wants to be like, oh, we brought back truth, blah, 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 our voices were heard, blah, blah, blah. And they may have. I'm not completely throwing that out the fucking window, but you don't know the whole goddamn story. Like,
right. The
and for the fact that he came back a week later, like, okay, we get it. It could have been. I think they should have stretched it out a little bit,
Yeah.
but you don't fucking know. These people online are like that are bashing WWE or bashing like, and I get it. You could be critical of the product that you watch. I understand. I'm critical of it sometimes, actually, a lot of times, But like the thing is like you have no idea what the hell's going on. Like, you know,
The
and for the people who are like, oh, they only did this because we were mad at them. Dude, you have no idea.
did you see
Go
this?
fuck yourself. You're not important.
You're not important. Did you see the sign that was at the arena that was like, if anyone chants "We want truth," escort them out. They will not receive a refund.
No.
There was a sign in the arena that said any
What?
fan or
Wait,
whatever.
some fan had that?
No, it was just a sign on the wall, like a
Oh,
print, like someone typed it up, printed it out, and put it for like a security. Like, say, hey,
see,
hey, hey, security! If any fans chant "We want truth," escort them out. They will not get a refund. I'm like, yo, what?
that makes it even more like, do you really believe that? They wouldn't fucking toss your ass out, and for like the again that makes me think that it's a work because if it was at the beginning of the show and no one knew that he was coming back, that makes it even more like, okay, you know
Oh,
he's coming back. Like,
I got a
why would
point.
they even put that up there?
I just thought about this. I saw it on Twitter. Remember when I think it was Wednesday's show when I said, did you see the Rhea Ripley wearing the R Truth shirt?
Yeah.
She was wearing the shirt that got put on the WWE website 14 minutes after he came back. So everyone on Twitter was like, "Oh, so she was wearing an unreleased R2 shirt?" Hmm.
See, I'm telling you, dude.
Hmm.
And like even like Triple H was asked about it, and he played it off like, I mean, again, we have no idea what the fucking truth is, right?
Nice pun
Um,
there.
thank you. We don't know what the R truth is, so but Triple H was asked about it in the press conference after, and he was like, are you enjoying the show? Like, are you enjoying the ride that we're taking you on? Like, it's and whether it's fact that this was all played out like that, or the fans having their voice heard, but how many times did the fans want something and they don't give it to them? Like, it's to me, this whole thing, man, like I'm just pissed at the internet wrestling community because they they jump all over fucking every decision that's made
Hmm.
is not the right decision according to the internet. And it's
Oh,
like, okay, dude, why do you even fucking watch? Like,
because some people, they just love to. Oh, great! They just love to hate. Like example, me and you could go see the Titanic, and we're walking out. Oh, that was a great movie, and then just some random goober. I fucking hated it.
yeah.
Why? What's wrong with it?
Why'd they have to have the sink? Why'd they have to have the boat sink? What
Well,
the fuck, man? I wanted
like,
to see Rose and Jack have babies.
like, dude, just at a certain point, just your consumer consume it. If you don't like it, guess what? Don't fucking watch it.
All right, so I just thought of a great fucking movie sequel, right?
Titanic
Titanic
2,
2,
bigger boat.
right? Titanic 2. And it's about Jack and Rose's kid. They did have sexual intercourse in a car on the Titanic, and so they probably weren't using a rubber. I'm guessing,
They're using an
so
icicle.
what'd you say? An icicle?
They're using an icicle.
Okay. All right, I can see that, but so say Rose got pregnant, right? She
Hmm.
survives the shipwreck. She goes off and then she has a child who's Jack's baby. And the premises of the movie could be like, Jack is like cursed because he died on the Titanic, and he made it sink or whatever by fucking Rose in the car. Um, but this could be a comedy, and his son could just be like cursed as well. So like everything that he does, everything just goes wrong, and it's
Everything
like just like
sinks.
comedic, huh?
Everything sinks, but
Well, not necessarily sinks, but like, like let me see, like he has like a birthday party when he's like 6, right? And like they order like a clown, and like instead of being like funny, he like the clown shows up and he's like the Airbud clown, and he looks like a pedo or something, and it's just like, oh, bad luck, I'm cursed,
bro,
or like he gets punched in the face by a girl or something. I don't know. Like, just think of stuff that could happen to a kid. He gets
yeah,
pantsed in the hallway, and he's known as, like
bro job or
shit
something.
stain or something. Just something.
Yeah,
Just I don't know. I would need more time to think
just thought
of
about it
just
on
cursed
spot.
things that could happen to him, but there'd be funny stuff. Like it'd
Right.
be like, oh my god, like with Jack Jr. Jack Dawson Jr. He's they call him JR. JR JDJR maybe. I don't know. We can work on this. We can work on it. We can work on a script.
We're co-
I
we
don't know. We could have Michael Cera play him.
That'd be
Michael
hilarious.
Cera's a funny guy.
That'd be
He's like,
hilarious.
oh, Michael Cera. Like he's got like the like he's like just walking around. I'm Michael Cera. I'm Jack Dawson Jr.
um,
My daddy was on the Titanic. He won a card game and he was poor.
we
So, like,
we
good comedic humor.
we have a question from the chat, and I quote: "Why does Bobby have such a hard on for the Titanic?"
Um, because what is the Celine Dion song? Love Must Go On or whatever. You know, there's a great song. He's flying or she's
Dude,
flying.
I, I
She's a whore. It's a classic whore story. Um, and just it's a great American film about a fictitious boat that sank.
I remember growing up, we had when we had VHSs when those things were around. Titanic was so big it
Here
was
we
on
go.
2 VHSs, which is already fucking insane.
And by the way, whoever brought that up in the chat, I wasn't the one that brought up Titanic. Lawson did. Lawson brought up the Titanic. So I didn't bring up Titanic.
You just had to throw that out
I'm
there.
just bringing up the sequel. So,
The potential
but
sequel.
no, yeah, going back to the R-Truth stuff, man. Like, I just not saying that it was a work, but like it's like, okay, dude, like you have no idea behind closed doors if they're renegotiating this contract or anything. And like I said, it kind of pisses me off that like we actually know that information, because I would rather just be surprised. I know, I get it, Bobby. You don't have to go on social media, but hey, I put out content, I write articles, I fucking have a podcast. Yeah, I'm gonna be on fucking social media. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I don't know. It just
And
I'm right there with you when it comes to like whenever people get released. Like I said back in the day, where it's not a they were released. It was just he's just not on the show anymore.
right,
Because at the end of
and
the day,
the thing is too is
like you said, at the end of the day, it's a show.
right,
Some characters just don't work
and
out.
someone, I forget which podcast I was listening to, but someone made a good point of, if they knew that Truth was going to get released or whatever, and they, if this was, they probably knew for weeks, right? You just don't spring that on something, right? Um,
Right.
why wouldn't John Cena versus R-Truth at Saturday night's main event be like championship versus career? Just saying. Like, if they knew he was gonna get released, like,
Yeah, because it wasn't even a title match. It was just a singles match.
right, right. Like, what damage would that do? You're gonna release him anyway, and then people will be pissed, and then
And then people hate Cena even more.
Yeah, John Cena can really get the blame, but that didn't happen. So, you know, Just
Yeah,
saying.
I don't know. I'm right there with you where I was surprised that the turnaround was so fast.
Yeah.
When something like that happens and we threw out 17 different scenarios in which, like, you know, there were 17 different avenues and the one you took might have been the worst, that the turnaround was so freaking fast.
Hmm. But like the thing is too is man, it's like fans obviously like fans are chanting we want truth and but how many years did they chant CM Punk? Like and CM Punk made like a comment about that too, like after Raw went off the air or whatever.
Yeah,
But like, you know, again,
I remember
yeah,
when
I don't think WWE would just be like, "Oh man, we got to bring this guy back because they're chanting his name and people are
no,
pissed." Like they
no,
don't fucking
because
care.
if they would have done that, then they would have brought Punk 14 years earlier.
Right.
Just due to the simple fact of, like, I remember when The Rock called Punk on a Raw randomly, after he was already after Punk had went they split, because
Hmm.
and that was another thing, like, in 20, because I think he stopped wrestling in WWE in, what was it, 2014.
Something like that.
Like, it was, once again, it wasn't, oh, Punk got released. Once again, to my knowledge, back in the day, back in my day,
Yeah.
he just wasn't wrestling anymore.
Right. Yeah, I mean he had that whole like contract thing when he was like I'm leaving with the title and then they re-signed
That
him or whatever and then
that
yeah,
sh-
like when he
I remember watching that shit with my dad, because my dad's favorite wrestler is Stone Cold, and his second is Punk, because Punk's just
Mhm.
a slimy, and my dad fucking loves it. I remember when we were watching that growing up, and I was like, is he really just gonna? He's just gone now. What are they gonna do? And he was and he was kind of still feeding into, like, the Lawson doesn't, he's like, I don't know what they're gonna do.
Right.
Oh, then this
That's
dickhead.
because you were fucking 6 years old.
Fuck you. Side story about. So, like, my dad was feeding into, like, the wrestling. I don't know what's gonna happen, and then this jackass. You remember Alberto Del Rio?
He's the yeah.
Yeah.
He's the AAA champion, I think, right now.
I think he just lost it to whoever it was. Anyways,
I think you're right.
and
He
yeah, when he was, in 2011, we were watching. Can't remember if it was a Raw or SmackDown, but he came out in one of his fancy cars that he always does, because, what was his nickname? The American, like, aristocrat, or something like that. Um,
Mexican aristocrat?
yeah.
You said the American.
Oh, the Mexican. My bad.
He's Mexican.
He is he is Espanol.
Unless
Um,
he's Del Rio.
you remember when he had his own little announcer, Ricardo Rodriguez?
Yeah, man.
That
He
shit was
like barely
awesome.
spoke English.
Yeah. Anyways, fucking, we were watching, like, a Raw or SmackDown, and I was like, yo, every week he comes out in these nice ass cars. He was like, he tapped me on the shoulder, like, those aren't his cars, right? I was like, what do you mean? He said he rents them, and I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, that
Thanks for ruining wrestling, Dad.
that and Sin Cara jumping over the fucking rope. I,
Yeah, when
I,
they showed the trampoline.
yeah, cause fucking 11-year-old Lawson's like, holy fuck, he's flying! Broken jump so high,
Did
and
you see? Did you see when he like messed up and landed on the top rope?
yeah, and then I remember when, um, I thought he was also just a weird character, because, like, they dimmed out the lights and all that shit. And then I remember when there was Sin Cara Azul versus Sin Cara Negro, and they were battling with the masks. That
Hmm.
shit was awesome.
That shit was terrible, dude.
Bro,
You grew up on the worst era of wrestling.
first
If
of
you're
all,
talking about Sin Cara.
well, I was talking about my dad partially ruining, like, the mystique a little bit, because I'm like, yo, he jumped so high in the ring, that's crazy. He's like, there's a little trampoline right there, right? And I'm like, really? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, thanks, prick. Dude,
Uh,
I was so mad.
so back around that time, I was working for a bank, and my supervisor, my manager, he was kind of a dick. Um,
Hold on, I got
I
a
mean,
question. I
me
got a
and him
question.
got me and
So
huh?
we go from Mickey. I was about to say Mickey Mouse, Chuck E. Cheese mouse,
Yeah.
UPS driver, bank.
Yeah, I was doing IT. Well, that not in that order, dude.
Well, no,
Not in
not
that
in that
order.
order, but I was gonna say. So you're man of a thousand nicknames and man of a thousand jobs.
Oh yeah, 100%, man. Um, Wyatt's growling because someone left the front door, so now
Ooh.
he's it looks like exhausted and he's just growling at me. Anyway, um, when I was working at the bank, I was an IT guy, right? So my IT manager, he's kind of a dick, but like me and him got along. Like somehow I can talk to anyone, you know.
Right.
So like even other people were like, oh my God, like he's never talked to people like talks to you. Like he's always like super anti-friendly and he's not social and he's just a dickhead, right?
Mm.
So he found out that I liked wrestling and his kids at the time were probably like 7 or 8 or something, and they were into it a little bit, and they were starting to get into it. Their favorite two wrestlers were Rey Mysterio and Sin Cara, and like I've never been a Rey Mysterio fan. I just think he's too like kind of like generic, and I know like just his promos I feel like are very generic. Like I feel like Rey Mysterio puts on a whatever you would see on a video game as far as their promo, that's Rey Mysterio's promo in the ring. Like it's
Yeah.
like it just sounds like a video game and like the most generic shit you can ever say. He's very talented, he just don't get me wrong, like he's it's just not my cup of tea.
Right.
But he told my boss told me he was a little guy. My boss was a little guy. He was like 5'7", 5'8". Um, and he was like his I guess his kids were really really small for their age, and he's like, yeah, they like Rey Mysterio because they like he's like his their size because they're small, and I'm like, really, that's a thing? Like, I was a bigger kid growing up. It wasn't like my fucking favorite wrestler was the Big Show. Like, I'm like, you can like whoever you want. Why do they like him? Because just because they're small and he's small. That's weird.
That's so funny.
Like,
It's so interesting. Like
this loser, grow up.
it's so funny. Like when you ask, like people that were into wrestling and stuff like that. Like, oh, growing up, who is your favorite? Because everyone's got their own different story of or kind of wrestlers that they like and stuff like that.
Hmm.
That's what
Yeah, my first favorite wrestler was Razor Ramon.
uh,
I think almost everyone my age,
the
their
original
favorite
bad
wrestler was Razor Ramon
the
at one point.
the original bad guy.
Yes,
It
before it was Scott Hall.
I
Yeah,
I still love the clip. And what made his as the kids say now his aura go crazy was when
machismo
huh
is machismo.
yeah, his machismo, or as the kids, for the younger audience, his aura. Um,
We don't talk to
when
younger kids.
they when I think it was the NWO was cutting a promo in the ring and someone threw a beer and like smacked him in the back and he's just doing his hair shit
Yeah,
with the toothpick still
yeah,
in. The God, this shit was
yeah.
that's such a funny clip.
It is great.
Oh
It is
shit.
great. But yeah, so Cena ended up losing, which was expected. Like the title's not on the line. They're gonna have fucking Cody Rhodes and what's his name go over
Yeah.
Jey
So yeah.
Uso. Um,
Did you see Logan Paul's moonsault from the second rope to the announce table?
no. The
It was
only thing I keep seeing is his botched uh what's it, buckshot lariat or whatever it's called.
yeah.
Um, because people want to hate on Logan Paul any chance they
Well,
get.
well, duh.
So that's the
He's
only
a
stuff
hateable
that I see.
guy. He's a hateable
Well,
guy.
I know, but he is like, don't get me wrong, he is a hateable guy. And I'm not defending him, but he is a good wrestler. Like
Yeah.
he is good on the mic and he's good in the ring. Like you can't deny it. And people
Hmm.
that are like, oh, you're a YouTuber, dude, AEW had Shaq in a match, in a tables match. Come on, dude. Like,
I remember. I,
shit happens.
I remember that because I want to say he was on Inside the NBA like the next night, and
Yeah,
and they were fucking rerunning the clip back, and it was like Cody Rhodes drop kicking him off the apron through a table or something like that.
yeah.
It's
Yeah,
funny.
and like wrestling's always had that, and like for someone like Logan Paul who actually has fucking talent, like it's not,
Mm.
they're not putting Dennis Rodman or Karl Malone or Jay Leno or David Arquette or Floyd Mayweather or whoever, name your fucking celebrity slash athlete that you put in the ring. Logan Paul is the best out of all of them.
Yeah,
Prove me wrong.
and there's been a plethora of celebrities that have been. I'm not saying they've been like wrestlers to be in the ring performers, but celebrities
Mhm.
and wrestling have gone hand in hand since WrestleMania 1.
Right.
So
Exactly.
it's nothing new because I remember. Do you remember back in the day when Raw used to have like the guest hosts?
Hmm.
That shit was so funny. Like you want to talk about people from Trump, the Muppets, you name it, they hosted Raw for an episode.
So funny story. We were watching Raw and MGK is hosting, and I have no interest in MGK, especially with his new weird shit that he just put out a couple of weeks ago. Um, Anyway, um, he's hosting Raw, and my buddy is over, and MGK comes on the stage, and like, so we would always flip around channel when it goes on commercial. So like, we were watching when it go to commercial, we were watching You, Me, and Dupree, and great movie by the way. Um, I could tell you have some Lawson ness in you. Um, you gotta channel your inner Ness. I don't know if have you ever seen this movie? You're looking just
No.
okay. It's a great movie. You should watch it. It's
What's it
Owen
called?
Wilson. You, Me, and Dupree.
Okay.
Okay, yeah. So it's a great family comedy. Um, anyway, MGK comes on the stage, and my buddy goes, "Is You, Me, and Dupree on? I don't want to watch this shit." So I was like, "Yeah." So I switch it over, dude. We're watching it for a few minutes. I switch it back to Raw, and fucking MGK is laying through a table, and we're like, "What the fuck just happened?" And fucking Kevin Owens powerbombed him off the fucking stage, and we missed it because we were watching You, Me, and
That's
Dupree.
awesome. Breaking news.
Breaking news.
As of 10 minutes ago, the Packers will be releasing Jair Alexander after 7 seasons.
I don't know who that is.
The cornerback, DB, number 23.
Number 23 in your programs, number one in your heart.
Check. Jair Alexander, cornerback,
Yeah.
says after the Packers made attempts in recent weeks to keep Jair Alexander on a reconstructed deal, but talks didn't get far. Now he's being released and becomes a very intriguing June free agent. And it's even more funny because the only reason why I got that because my phone's on silent. I see my phone light up, and my boy, who's a Bucks fan, just texted me and said, "Mr. Alexander, welcome to Tampa Bay." uh,
He's going to the Jets like all the other Packers.
That's so funny. Shout out to my boy Wance. Shout out to Wance. Just texted me about
Lance.
the big Wance.
Lance.
That's the
Big
name of
Lance.
that's the name of my phone, Wance.
Lance.
Yeah.
But yeah, man, we covered a lot. And is there anything else we have to cover before we wrap it up here in a few minutes?
I mean, did you watch any of the UFC fights on Saturday?
Nah, man. If Brock Lesnar or CM Punk or a wrestler is not fighting in UFC, like unless like I get invited somewhere that like
Yeah.
I feel like just going to drink and hang
Mhm.
out,
Yeah.
I don't really pay attention to UFC too much.
Yeah, though, but with like, dude, everything was on over the weekend.
Right.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Yeah, and I missed a lot of it because I
Yeah.
was,
Away.
enjoying life. Went golfing up north,
I was gonna say
went out to the bar, went down in the little town area, did some shopping.
I know you asked
Yeah,
me, but what did you do over the weekend, or did you just kind of just spiel it out just that?
I just spilled it up.
Oh,
I had, we Sunday fun dayed,
yeah.
which, if you don't know what that means, it means have a few adult beverages and hang out with some people and just
Vibes.
crack jokes
Just
and
vibe out.
dude, so yesterday though, we're at the local watering hole that we go to,
Mm-hmm.
and we were there 5 o'clock a shift change, right? So
Mm-hmm.
if you're there before 5 o'clock, the bartender will give you your bill so you can cash out with her. So, we can tip her and then start our new tab with the new bartender, right?
Right.
Standard restaurant slash bar practice, right?
Oh God.
So this guy gets his bill. He puts his debit card on the bill. Girl takes the debit card, fucking loses it. They lost it and had to look for it for 45 fucking minutes. Dude, like I was telling my girlfriend and the people that we were with, I was like, dude, I would be fucking livid if I gave my card to a bartender or waitress and they're like, yeah, I can't find it. I don't know where I put it. What the fuck? Okay,
The fuck do
well,
you
I'm not
mean?
paying for fucking shit until you fucking find it, and I'm gonna continue to order shit.
I
And
remember this one time in the early 2000s, my mom had her phone stolen at like some restaurant. We were all it was like me, my mom, my sister. We all went for whatever it was, and
mhm.
she was like talking to the staff, and my mom was fucking pissed. She was so mad. She wanted the staff to like hold motherfuckers at the door and for her to like go through they shit. And I was like, hey, oh my, don't. I mean, yeah, it fucking blows, but what the fuck are you gonna do?
Right.
You gonna
Well,
have them
they
hold up
ended up
everybody and go through everybody's shit?
they ended up finding it. Like I said, it took them 45 minutes, but it was the new bartender that came in that actually found it, and it was like wedged. Like there's a on the register, there's like
Yeah.
a lip in it, and it was like wedged in the lip, and yeah, but I would have been fucking pissed, dude. Like, and I was telling my girl, I was like, dude, like, I'm glad that wasn't because we she put her card out the same time as this guy. I was like, dude, I'm so glad it's not yours because you'd be freaking the fuck out, and I would be fucking
I'd be pissed right there
pissed.
with you, dude. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
fucking insane. That's nuts,
but I'm
dude.
like, how do you do that? Like, how do
May-
you?
Maybe she's like put it there to do one card, then went to grab it and actually pushed it. I don't fucking know.
Oh no, but like, dude, like I'm like, if you can't handle like multitasking, like that's like like your mom's cell phone or the debit card, that's some serious shit, man. Like,
Dude, for real.
how you gonna mishandle someone's fucking shit like that?
Livelihood.
Right.
Right, because uh, I mean, I was gonna say, cause I mean, now I'm sure if brought an iPhone, he could have Apple paid whatever the fuck it is, cause damn near everywhere's got like the fucking double tap the power button, scan it
Yeah.
on your phone. But yeah, dude, I'd been fucking pissed.
Right.
Imagine she comes back.
So
She comes back to the table. Yes, sir. We don't know where your debit card is.
that's what she told the guy, and he's like, "What?" And
The
he's like,
fuck?
"She's like, I can't find it." And then she's under spotlight, dude. Like, like everyone, it's fucking like, "Oh, where did you check over there? Did you check over there?" Like, oh my god,
I
just
I would have said straight up.
crazy.
Straight up would have said, "What the fuck do you mean you don't know where my debit card?"
Right,
Yeah.
right. So, do you have a Nerfy for the day?
You know what? Live on the Legends Clubhouse, we're gonna find you one.
Okay,
Cause I don't know if you saw Twitter, and on Friday's show, cause I went with the Dodgers Cardinals. You're like, this is where your streak dies. Smacked it,
and
cash.
it did.
What you mean it did?
Your streak of being any kind of relevant ended because you suck.
It just hurt my heart.
And Wednesday, we'll have a new host. Um, so, I there's not there's not much to pick from today.
You know what?
Um,
I got a
there's
ballsy
about
one.
7 or 8 games. I kind of do too. Yeah, I know where you're going, and it's fucking stupid. Um, your streak ends today because I know which game, and I bet you I know. I bet you I know. I
Yeah.
bet you're picking the fucking Dodgers Padres because you're an idiot.
Yes, I
Um,
am.
So yeah, Dodgers Padres. Dustin May versus Nick Pivetta. Uh,
Absolutely, baby.
you got Dustin May's got a 3-4 record, 4.09 ERA. 63 strikeouts. Nick Pavetta's at a
Mm,
6-2 record with a 3.6 or 16.
mm-hmm.
Austin 3.16 ERA.
Oh,
And a 76 strikeout.
speaking of Dustin May, did you see that crazy story that happened as to why he missed all of last year?
No.
So he was rehabbing his, like, I don't remember if it was like a quad or something in his leg. He was rehabbing whatever injury it was, right? He was eating a salad, and when he went to swallow, it tore his
Oh
esophagus.
yeah, yeah. I did.
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about the reverse ginger surgery that he was trying to get.
Wait,
Um,
what?
what
Don't tell me you're being serious.
about what?
Reverse ginger surgery.
No, man, that's not a fucking thing, dude. Come on.
I was about to say, let me
He's,
find. I was about to say, let me
he's
find out. I was about to say, let me find out because I got some boys that they're interested.
I got some boys that definitely need that surgery. Um, but
I was right after I was about to. I might call him live. Hey, dog, listen. You know how if you need
you hear about this reverse ginger surgery?
you know how if you need a
You
hair
saw it in the sun.
you know how if you need a hair transplant you go to you, you go like Tijuana or wherever the fuck they're doing it. Oh, it's so...
They put you under a black light until you fry. Um. Anyway, I am gonna go with, and this is kind of a one out there, but I think it might. I think it'll hit.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go with the Angels and Athletics. The Angels have Yusei Kikuchi going. He's 1-5 with a 3.23 ERA and 63 strikeouts.
Mm.
The Athletics have that famous pitcher who's unbeatable so far, Tibbid. Tibbid will be going tonight. Um, and we're hoping Tibbid can get through the first inning. Do you know who
Hey,
Tibbid is?
you know what's even more funny? So,
I asked you a
a
question and you just ignored me. I feel sad.
no, I don't know who that is, and the reason why I
To be determined.
that makes sense
That's rude.
because I non sponsor related. I use the Real app. The Real app's fucking awesome. Recommended. I clicked the Angels and I see Kikuchi. I clicked Oakland to see if they announce anybody, and it just no one's probable at the top. And I was like, and then when you said Tibbet, I'm fucking scrolling through their roster. I'm like, who the fuck is he talking about? Because baseball, they got some crazy ass names. I was showing my boy. I was talking about the
You were
goat.
looking for Tibbid.
Dude, I was like, who the fuck is he talking about? I was telling one of my boys about Scooble the other day because he's not a baseball guy, and
Mm-hmm.
I was like, oh, there's this dude, Tarek Scooble, he's fucking lit. And then I was showing him when he threw the complete game, and like his first strikeout, the announcer said the fucking catcher's name, and it was like, there's no way that's an actual name. We find it. Dylan Dingler.
Yeah,
they
Dylan Dingler, dude.
they
The Dingler.
they
The,
said it
the
on the
Dingles.
they said it on the announcer, and he was like, hold on, run that clip back. There's no fucking way that's a name.
Yeah,
And
man. Dylan Dingler's awesome,
I'm like,
dude.
yeah, dude, baseball's got some wild fucking names.
The Dingley. The Dingler.
The Dingle Bear.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, man. He's Batman's next opponent.
That's
Um, but
that's so funny.
if you like the show, like, subscribe. We
Hmm.
are live Monday, Wednesdays, and Fridays at 7:30 Eastern time, AM. We are always in the morning. So get your cereal with no milk. Eat that shit dry. Have your milk on the side if you desire. Or your flimsy bacon, pancakes with no syrup. Any of that is acceptable. Get yourself some butter on those pancakes or waffles. Syrup's gross, so don't even worry about it. And it's sticky. You don't want sticky shit in your beard.
I got a question though
Um, yeah.
before you continue. Waffles or pancakes?
Ooh. Um,
There is one right answer.
Pancakes I go more often, but that doesn't
That
mean I don't like waffles.
I was about to say that wasn't the question. The question
Um,
was which one's better, not which one you eat more regularly.
Waffle, man. Waffle's better.
Thank you. Agreed.
But no syrup. Just butter.
Yeah,
And
we
let the butter just melt in there. And there can't be any black spots on the waffle. Not burning waffles. Not even like even a little brown is questionable. Like it's
with
still got to yelp.
in the words of I think this is a Journey song. Now's where we go our separate ways. When you fucking say no syrup, like bro, you're bugging. You're fucking bugging.
Anyway, for your daily content, go
Mm.
to newleafnews.network or .com. Yeah, I said .network. Laugh about it. Oh, you fucking clown. Um,
That must be an inside joke.
um, yeah, inside joke. Respect the hustle. Nah. So go out to newleafnews.network.com. It'll take you to the same great site. We have great daily content. We're getting amazing views. Shout out to again our writer Marie Foster got like over 600 views. A new Leaf News record for us. We've only been open for less than 3 months. So her horoscope for June was going crazy the other day. So
Mm.
for daily content, go over there. You'll see the newest 64-bit Legend podcast being posted there today. Um, Check them out as well. That's my other show at 64-bit Legends on Instagram, on Twitter. New Leaf News is on Twitter, on X, on Facebook. Of course, we're on YouTube. That's where you're watching us right now. If you can't catch us up at 7:30, we always put the shows up. So check us out whenever you can.
Mm.
Um, the Check me out at Bobby Kaboose. I am on X. I am on Twitter. So is my boy Lawson. He is at Lawson underscore 1226. Not only is that his pin, not only is that his birthday, but that's his way of life. Is those 1226s. So if you want to know what that means, DM him and be like, "Hey, what's up with that 1226s?" And he's gonna give you an elaborate story about what each individual 26 is. He will have 26 bullet points, and